Today on What Went Wrong? That women don't want to hear. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I made over 40 feature films.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Yes, a lot of feature films. Short films, music videos, and of course, there's a lot of actresses in them.
Unfortunately.
And today, we're going to be giving some advice to women who are in Hollywood, who want to go to Hollywood, who are getting ready to move to Hollywood. And just because I'm a man does not mean that I do not have valid advice to give somebody. It doesn't matter my gender, my race, my ethnicity, anything about the facts that I'm giving. Completely opposite.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yes. So just because I'm a dude doesn't mean that I can't give you some advice. In fact, I can give you an insight that you may not be thinking.
Well,
about.
it's you can't. You're not going to live long enough to make all the mistakes. You need to listen to some of those of who have made them and seen them. Yeah. So yeah.
The first advice I have to give is, and this is really in any to anybody, fine tune your bullshit detector. And in Hollywood, just right off the bat, assume everybody is full of shit.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to want to hear this. Yeah. Or they're not going to want to hear this. But most people in Hollywood, most of the men anyways, are going to be seeing them based on their beauty and going to be always going to have that ulterior motive.
Right.
One of the things that I find very interesting is you see, there's this, especially in the culture today, within the culture war, what have you, about the Me Too movement and all of this, and how toxic masculinity is, and all of this stuff, and how men do this, men do that. Out here in the regular world, I don't see a whole lot of that. There's no rape culture. Most, I don't even say most. Every man that I know, if he sees a rape happening, if somebody's talking about considering a rape or anything like that, they're going to beat the hell out of that guy.
Or worse.
Yeah. There is no push or hey, rape's okay, rape is cool. You don't get that.
There's anyone who thinks that in the Western society that women are being subjugated and used as reproduction chattel. No, that would be the Middle East.
And China.
Not the West. And so if that is how you think of the world, you're an idiot.
There's an exception in that case, though.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Which is why they see it everywhere. They think it's running rampant through the world.
Because they're the ones, it's running rampant
because it's in their industry, because it's in their little circle, it's in their society. Yeah. And you want to talk about rape culture in being accepted. Look at all the actresses who knew about the Weinsteins and whatnot, and kept their mouth shut.
Yeah. Even Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Little Miss Power for Women, all this other stuff. All the pictures of her with Harvey Weinstein because she liked his money, and she's willing to. Successful people in Hollywood didn't get there because they're all that good. Because there's lots of really good people who are able to do all kinds of really cool things. Because merit gets you so far, but Hollywood, much like the Middle Ages and even the Renaissance time period, an artist who was going to go far had to have a patron. From Shakespeare to Mozart to all these different guys, they had to have a patron. You had to have some really rich guy, because it was guys, or women in some cases, but most of the time it was guys, queens.
I was about to say queens.
Queens can push you along.
Funded
all kinds of things. Isabella absolutely did that, and Elizabeth did her own. But other than of royal blood, it was mostly men who had the money.
Just real sidestep, we could say that women are responsible for the colonization of the world.
They are.
Because
Isabella and Elizabeth.
She funded Columbus.
Women did this kind of crazy Women the world up, not guys. With bird feces on their face to make them whiter. Or lead. Anyway, bird or lead made the world go around back then. Except for all the whale oil we were using to light the way. Anyway, you had to have a patron. Well, what are you doing for the patron? You have to do something for the patron. You have to, unless you have a patron who is so ridiculously wealthy that they can just throw money at people. And kings and queens kind of like that. But even then, you still had to make the king and queen look good. Mm-hmm. Shakespeare couldn't put out a play that pissed in the face of the king and the queen. That's not going to happen. Neither could a patron of the arts, so typically the arts, just kind of be allowed to go do whatever they wanted to do without something in return. There always has to be something in return. Well, women have one thing. Every woman has one thing that's useful if they have nothing else. That's why women ply the world's oldest trade, because they got one thing. Okay, and that may be a people say it's a kind of a heartless or evil way to look at things. Hey, I'm just telling you, history has shown, science has shown that in the past, a patron is going to demand something in return for their money. You think Weinstein was just giving money to girls just because he liked them, because he thought they were really good actresses? Does anyone know if Weinstein knows anything about acting? He just has lots of money, right? Well, what do you think you're going to have to do for that money? Do you think he's just going to, sit and talk with you over coffee in the morning and you're just going to have good conversations? Do you think that's what's going to make the world go around? No, honey.
and no matter how good of an actress you are, you're in Hollywood where standing 2 inches behind you is a woman that's just as beautiful, just as talented as you, who may be willing to do what you're not.
Right.
And that's where that...
It's an old joke we used to tell. Once again, being in the military, we're very crude, very awful. But there was this... I guess you could say back before there was internet memes, there were jokes we used to send each other on emails, or jokes we used to just tell around. And one of them was talking about says the girl's like, I don't do the and the response has always been, well, good thing there's someone younger, prettier, and dirtier than you who will. Because it's crude, it's terrible, but it's the truth. There will be someone, okay, girls... Well, guys too, but girls, you have a very limited lifespan with regard to how good you look. By the time you're 26, if you haven't really gotten somewhere, you're done. You're absolutely done. The number of actresses who, after the age of 30, were able to do it, unless they are like stage, like your British stage actresses, or have made a mark.
Well, this comes down to the exception does not make the rule thing.
The exceptions don't make the rule.
I've always tried to explain, there are people out there with six fingers.
Yeah.
But we don't make a whole ton of six-fingered gloves.
Right.
Just because there's a couple people out there with
right.
So yeah, there are exceptions.
There are guys who have size 15 soles. There's shoes, and there's guys who have size 5. That does not mean that we make size 15, lots and lots and lots of size 15 and size 5s. It's right in the middle is where you're going for. And so you're shooting the curve. Okay? To shoot the curve means the exceptions don't prove the rule. Yeah, there is a Dame Judi Dench. Mm-hmm. Yes, there is, what's her name, who played...
Helen Mirren?
Helen Mirren. And there's also, I was thinking about the woman who played Morticia Addams in the movies with...
Angelica Houston.
Angelica Houston. Mm-hmm. I love her. Can't remember her name, but I love her. And so there are the exceptions, but that's 3. And maybe if you want to have a little experiment, I want you to take out a piece of paper right now, write 1 through 20, and fill that list with actresses who got their big break after 30. Right now. Just right now. Do it. Can you? Go ahead. We'll wait. We'll wait. Take your time. And then I want you to take, just on the other side, and just list the female actresses you know. And how many of them got their start before they were 25. Okay? You have to understand, by the time you're 25, 26, 27 years old, you're done. You're on your way out the door. things are going to start sagging and moving. And unless you've established yourself as being a powerhouse, you're done. You're absolutely out the door. I'm not saying that to discourage you, but facts are what facts are, and facts don't care about your feelings. Hollywood is one of the most racist, sexist, ageist places there are, because you will have someone say, I need a 22-year-old white woman who's 5'4" and who has a D cup. I need that, and she's going to be from here to here, and I'll pay her this much. And you'll have a line of girls lining up for it. You can take your pick. Now, that's unfortunate, and it may not be right, but it's a material. That's how the world is. That's how it is in Hollywood. Okay? Talent is going to get you far, but it'll only get you so far. Because let's be honest, everyone has talent. If you've managed to do something, girls who have this modicum of talent, or even girls who have a lot of talent. You've had several actresses who you worked with who I'm like, damn, she's really good. I'll never see her on the screen. She's either too old or won't do what she needs to do. I know several girls who you've worked with who have gone to Hollywood and had to come back, or are going to Hollywood. There's a couple who you've talked with, and they're pretty. One of them in particular is very grounded, and I kind of think she'll do fine. That's another thing we'll get to is her.
We're thinking about the same person.
I know we are, and that's one of the advice, a bit of advice we'll get to later. But yeah, they understand. Well, that's a different one. But yeah, there's a lot of people who can do what you do, and it's all a question of what you're going to be willing to do. And everyone's going to tell you. Let's talk about the bullshit meter. Everyone's going to tell you, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, that, and the other thing. But unfortunately, the most sexist, racist, ageist place on the planet,
Besides
China, is Hollywood. And they're coming for you. Literally.
Yeah. Now, and this may be shocking for some people to hear, but it's not just the women though. Mm-mm. There are men who have been harassed and have been, had to quote unquote take that plunge, whatever you want to say, have been offered, hey, you get this role if, and from both men and women.
Right. Yeah. It's not just the girls that are going to be on their knees. Guys will be on their knees too. It's not just the girls bent over the desk. It's the guys will be too. I mean, they will rape anybody. Hollywood will take you and people will get what they can from you. Okay. Because honestly, as we said before, honey, there's no one right behind you. You come here, we ream you out, as they say. You're here for a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years. You die in a gutter somewhere, and no one cares. Because right behind you is another doughy-eyed starlet who's going to make her mark in Hollywood. And she's next. It's not something that... I'm not making this up. It's not something that you really should... And no one should be surprised of it. I mean,
we've been talking about this since the 30s and 40s.
The casting couch has been a thing for almost 100. Well, I've been talked about as being a thing for 100 years. Is it any different now as it was back then? If anything, it's worse. Because at least back then, there was the idea that women should be taken care of and women should be valued and women should be, respected. Well, that's gone because men and women are equal now.
Yeah, so and women don't need men to protect them.
So,
well, who's going to?
Well, no one's going to protect them now. And it's like the other women are going to protect them. Oprah Winfrey wasn't yelling about, Epstein doing this stuff. She went right along with it. All those women who are whining about, Weinstein doing the things he was doing. I mean, Oprah Winfrey and Helen Mirren that talked about it. But yet, there they were. There's one woman who I've seen, I can't remember her name right now, Rose McGowan. Mm-hmm. She's like the one who I've seen screaming and yelling about this whole thing. Rose McGowan, who I don't really care for. I didn't like her. Yeah, same here. I didn't like her. Let me rephrase that. I didn't care for her political views. Her as an individual, I've never met her. I'm sure she's as good as anybody else. But as far as being one of the people who's jumping and yelling and screaming about the problem in Hollywood, she's the only one. Only one I can think of off the top of my head. Who else is doing it? One woman. One woman is standing up and saying this isn't right. out of how many millions of women who've gone through Hollywood and had whatever happened to them happen to them.
Now, there is another group of women in Hollywood, which are going to be the producers.
Yeah.
Which can either have their careers made or broken, not necessarily even by that. They're going to be people that don't go on their knees or whatever, but usually because they know something about something.
Right.
But women
Somebody
who
went
just want
somewhere.
to be, just women who just want to be producers have to understand and accept that it is a business. Because I'm starting to lean, kind of get into the field of the Kathleen Kennedys and the people that are destroying franchises, and it's not just women, but when it seems like when a woman gets into a power position, such as a producer, executive producer, the focus now becomes on making the force female,
Right.
and
they're actually
Charlie's Angels, where they're saying, "Hey, white men, this is not for you. Men in general, this movie's not for you." And then when Charlie's Angels bombs, it's like, well, no men went to go see the movie.
Yeah,
You told us not to.
not for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're seeing is a larger grouping of failures based on, or I should say, involving movies produced by companies who have been headed by women. Okay, I actually was looking at this the other day, and it's actually I can't remember exactly where I read it, but there has been an uptick in the number of movies that have been failures and TV series that have been failures over the last couple of years. I think it's like 60-something% more, greater than before. Star Wars being one of the big noticeable. Now, Star Wars was still a financial success in so much as it made them more than the money cost. However, they've not made up for what the property cost. Disney's taken a huge hit because the property cost them $4.5 billion. And they've then made 3 movies. And, well, they've made the episode 7, 8, 9. They made Solo, which bombed. They made Rogue One, which did pretty well, but the amount of money they spent on the movies, they made that back, but it hasn't recovered the amount of money that they spent on the property itself. And even the goodwill they made with The Mandalorian, they blew it with the Gina Carano
thing. Yeah.
You know, and then even attacking the girl who played Rosario Dawson, who played, say with me, Brett, Ahsoka Tano.
Let me down.
That's okay. It's all right. They were giving her about it. And even Bill Burr, who, by the way, who the hell knew he was so good? You know, what the hell? That was amazing. His performance. Anyway, I'm getting that's off the subject. But all the goodwill they made with The Mandalorian, because Star Wars was a disaster. Star Wars 7, 8, 9 were absolutely, just 8 especially, was an absolute disaster. And the way they went after the fans was an absolute disaster. Kathleen Kennedy has been an abject failure at being a producer, okay? Because she's cost the Disney company money now. Because the money they made on those properties, the money they made on those movies is the money they made on the movies, but they've made no money since then on them. None of the property is sold. The toys aren't selling. The costs of lawsuits and other things that are happening. Even the actors are bad mouthing them now. You know, and so they got into The Mandalorian and things were getting successful again, and then the Gina Carano thing happened. What the are you doing? When you get into someone like this running an organization, if you make it about that you're a woman, you're going to live and die by that. Okay? If you make your entire career about your genitals without having any perception or comprehension, understanding that you have to make money, and by alienating your fans, you're not making money. You're going to cost your company money. You're going to cost them goodwill, because it's all this was happening, and then COVID happened. Well, Disney is losing billions of dollars. And how much longer can they keep it up?
Because you're not looking at just, well, they made this much money. So yeah, but you should have made this much.
They made $1 billion. They should have made 3. When you look at how much Star Wars, it's episode 4, back in the day, how much it cost them to make that money and how much it made and has made, okay? You had the opportunity, and Empire, same thing, Return of the Jedi, my God. Now first 1, 2, and 3, they kind of stumbled. They kind of had a little problem. Mm-hmm. But still, they were mostly true to what was going on. But when 7, 8, 9 came along and they stopped the canon and they got rid of all these different properties, Dark Force Rising was a great book series. Dark Troopers was a whole big series of games and all this other stuff. Kyle Katarn and all these different characters and Jyn Corso, all these different characters they came up with. But they just kind of wiped the slate with them. Well, now you're not getting any. That's it. You're done with them, right? And so you created characters, and problem is, no one likes your characters now. Well, now what the are you doing? So they should have made billions and billions and billions. The toys should be flying off the shelves. People should be begging for more stuff. They want more. After Return of the Jedi, everyone wanted more stuff. Mm-hmm. They were selling Star Wars toys 5 years after the last movie ended because I bought some stuff, but that's not what happened. They, just like Doctor Who, just like Game of Thrones, they basically beat themselves out of the zeitgeist of America by their poor performance. Because they made their entire thing about, it's pro-women, it's this.
And I may be putting my foot in my mouth. There may be more reviews coming out and people see things that I didn't, but it's not just about women. Because there was a movie that I just watched on Amazon that I was like, oh boy, let's see what this is. It was a movie called Jolt. And it's got, what's her name from the Underworld series?
I don't know that one.
Kate Beckinsale.
There you go.
And I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go. Let's see what this is. And, but first of all, they explained why she was, and they didn't make her over powerful, except for there was one moment where she threw a guy and it's like, oh,
come on.
You had me. It was like all the way at the end too. It was like one of the last boss fights. I was like, oh, okay, I'll let that one slide. Because, they didn't, there were some things that were a little bit over the top, but it was like, they kind of did this cortisol thing and how she was, from young age, and they kind of went with the psychology. So they gave me an explanation as to why she was a little bit stronger, but people hated her. She had, she was getting beat up. She would get caught all the time. She would get, she'd get tied up.
She was real.
And she had this issue, because it was just pure anger, pure rage, and she had been experimented on. It was just pure rage. And to keep herself down, she had to, have a button that would, zap her because she'd have this electric vest or whatever. And it was even the boyfriend that double crossed her. And spoilers, but at the end, that was the twist at the end because it was a role reversal film that was done well.
Yeah.
That she went to go get the vengeance on her boyfriend that was killed.
Right.
Admittedly, I was like, okay, he's gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
But mostly that was because they put Jai Courtney in it, and he's dead in the first 15 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, well, you don't kill the big name and not bring him back at the end. So that was it. But it was sort of like, he's going to be at the end of this somewhere.
Michael Bihn's going to be in GoldenEye for more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Not Michael Biehn, Sean Bean.
Yeah. So there was,
Michael Biehn, different guy.
Yeah. So there was that twist, but it was it wasn't like. They didn't make it about him being the bad, evil man. Mm-hmm. There were some feminist lines in there,
right.
Why do old men always think they can do this? But you know what? Old men always do think they can do that. So it's
as long as it's real, I don't give a
And it was, it was fine. Well, I enjoyed it and I watched it. And I didn't come away feeling like I was preached to.
Right.
And I was like, that was a cool movie. I want to see a woman kick some ass sometimes. Don't go into it with an agenda.
Yeah.
You are going, if you want to go out and make independent films and have your agenda, that's great. Godspeed. Go, God be with you. But if you're going into Hollywood to be in show business, understand that your first priority is to make money.
Yeah.
Then it can be your agenda.
Right.
But make sure that you're, because sometimes if you want to make money, your agenda is going to have to be even further down that road.
Because a lot of these agendas don't make money because people aren't buying into them.
Yeah.
If you tell Men, this movie's not for you. All right, I'm gonna take my money and go somewhere else. And that movie's going to do really well. Everyone's going to say, well, yeah, this movie was this and it was that about women, but it sucked. Well, yeah, because women suck, apparently, because that's what we're talking about, right? You made a movie about women that no one wanted to see because no one cares. Do we actually believe people don't care about women? If you're preaching to us, yeah, off. If you're telling me how bad I am just because I'm a white male, yeah, suck my balls. I'm out. I don't give a if you're going to tell me that warrior women, in space are just as capable as men when they do what they're capable of doing. Yeah, Mandalorians with the Mandalorian armor and the rockets and yeah,
and it's not new. Look at
Cara Dune,
Alien.
I'll get there in just a second. Cara Dune, who was a female MMA fighter, as hard as she works in the TV series. As smart as she is, as hard as she works, as good as she does what she does, absolutely. Ahsoka Tano, one of the greatest Jedi, she's a woman in that show. Did I notice she was female? Did I care that she was female? Absolutely not. She shows up and she's a goddamn ninja. She was terrifying. If I was on the opposite side of that fence, I'd be terrified to see those white lightsabers because she's everywhere. She's a ghost. Okay? Am I saying, well, but if she was a male, she'd be scarier? Or if only she was a man, she'd be better. Do I care? Did I care? Did anyone care? Did any of the fans care? They love that character because she's a great character. She's smart, and she's funny, and she cares, and she's damaged, and she's real, and that's what people wanted to see. No one gives a about, at the end of when the battle's over, to see two girls kissing each other. Does anyone give a about that? Did we see guys and girls kissing at the end of Star Wars? We saw Leia give Luke a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and they all celebrated and ran off, and Chewie didn't get his medal. I don't know what the hell that's about. They're Wookieist. I don't know. Everyone got a medal. No medal for Wookiees. Whatever. Maybe it's a Wookiee thing. I don't know. I've never been to Kashyyyk. I have no idea. But when you take your agenda and shove it in my face, I'm not there to watch the Force be female. I don't want to see women in outfits going across the screen. I do not care. I want to see the show. When you give me great female characters, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, Cara Dune, I'm there. Because it's not about them being women. It's about them being real. You, as a business person, need to understand that. You have to make money. I have to support you. I have to come give you my money. You cannot drive me off because I'm a white male. Yeah. Okay? It's ignorant, it's stupid, and that's why they're failing at such a higher rate.
To go in a slightly different direction, or at least kind of put a lid on this, is when a woman is going into Hollywood, wanting to be an actress or wants to be a producer, what have you, and just wants to be an actress, wants to be a star, wants to do art, wants to accomplish these things.
Yeah.
And you're being asked to do things that you're not comfortable doing.
Oh.
This is key to having a decent life and having a good life. Understand they're not the end all and be all. Understand that if Hollywood is a business, and if you're looking to do art and you're looking to express yourself, there are other places outside of Hollywood for that. And I'm talking partially about people with agendas, but I'm also talking about people that are being told to get on your knees, or you're not going to make it in Hollywood.
Right.
Tell them, fine. I'm going to go make my own films. I'm going to go, see if that filmmaker Brett Mauser will do something with me. There is that opportunity to get out, and Hollywood's not your only option. Hollywood is not the end all and be all.
Right.
If you want that stardom and that fame, then you're not an actress, because that's not what an artist strives for.
Right.
They strive for the art. So come outside of Hollywood. Come back to Texas. Go back to Pennsylvania. Go back to Colorado, wherever Omaha, Nebraska, wherever you were from, and make your art there.
Yeah.
Without having to get on your knees to do it.
The thing, if we're talking about advice we're giving to women, one of the things I would say is, do not sell your soul to get what you think you want when you're 22 years old. Okay.
Because it's not going to be what you want.
It's not going to be what you want when you're 42 years old. Unless you're going to, do the thing and get high on cocaine and you'll be dead by 25, and then fine, whatever the hell you want. No one's going to care. They'll talk about how good you were, and they'll
if you only live.
Oh, if you only live, they'll play a clip at your at the Oscars that no one's watching anymore, and then that'll be it. No one's going to remember who you are. Because I was talking to someone about River Phoenix the other day. He had no idea who the hell that was.
Yeah.
No idea.
There are people who have not seen Star Wars today.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to remember you from that role that you were in? That poor girl from King of the Hill, Brittany something, or Brittany Murphy Brittany, something like that. Considered this big up and comer. She played the voice of the daughter in King of the Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And poof,
yeah,
up and comer. For a little while there. Oh, it's so sad that she died. Can anybody 25 and under even know who I'm talking about?
No, probably not. And so you have to understand that you have a very limited lifespan in Hollywood as a female. Men, for some reason, as we get older, for some reason, we get more rugged and good looking. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I keep hearing. Whereas women, like men mature like a fine wine and women mature like milk. And so I guess I don't seek to understand Hollywood's mindset, but that's what I keep hearing from them. And so as an actor, as an actress, since we're talking about actresses, you have to determine what line you're not willing to cross. You need to make that determination. That one girl we're talking about who wants to go to Hollywood, I kind of think she's got her line. Talking about her family and where she came from, and she's got a good support system at the home, which a lot of people don't have, which is why they're willing to just do anything, because they feel like they have nothing left. She's got a good support system, and I think if she succeeds, awesome. If she doesn't succeed, awesome. I think that someone like that is better capable of handling the stresses and the pressures and the peer pressure and the sexual violence, if you will, that will go on in Hollywood. I think if it comes to it and they say, well, you need to do this, she's like, no, I don't. Well, you'll never make it in this town. She's like, honey, you're not the only town around. I can totally see this girl doing that. Okay? But so many people don't understand that, or they have these unrealistic expectations about what they're going to be able to do. And they get told, this is how you make it here. This is what you do. And they sell themselves to that. And then for the rest of their lives, it's almost sad. For the rest of their lives, they're faced with the fact that they're no better than a whore for the most part. I mean, they've given everything. They have nothing left to hold back.
Yeah, they haven't held
held anything back. They're going to throw it all out there. Well, then why should anyone? Because you think you'll do it once, but you think you're going to be able to do it again. And you went on one casting couch, 2 casting couches, 3 casting couches. After a while, you're the girl who put out on the casting couch, and you don't actually have to cast her. And then what? Then what are you going to do? Because the rape culture that exists, that they think exists in the world, exists in their world. And thousands and thousands of girls are willingly submitting themselves to it every single year. I mean, there's an entire, once again, don't ask how I know this, but there's an entire porn industry based on guys filming casting couches. I did not know that, and I found that out not too long ago. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, no, they film, or the idea is that there's girls coming in to get a job, but the job is just basically getting on the couch.
It's a whole genre in itself.
It's a whole genre in itself. It's just watching girls get banged on couches.
For a job.
For a job that doesn't exist. The job is getting banged on the couch. Okay? Tell me and of course it's in Hollywood, it's up in the North Hills. Tell me right now there's not a rape culture in that part of the world. And tell me now why girls are willing to submit themselves to it. If they're really all about girl power and being powerful and doing stuff, why are they giving away all their power? Are they really that powerful? Are they really anything at all? And once they're done, what are you then? You're a used up casting couch whore.
As opposed to somebody who understands their own worth, understands their value, understands that in a world that is all about money, whether it's a capitalist society or socialist society, it's always about
money.
That your self-worth, your talent and your body is of a monetary value.
Yeah. If you're willing to spread your legs for any guy that comes along in hopes of they're going to get you something, what are you? You know, I've seen another thing. I've told this to several people because I've had these conversations with girls who are doing stuff, and I keep telling them, it's like, you think you're the first person who's ever had this issue? I was talking to one girl, she's having issues with something in her family and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, seriously, you're like the 23rd person I know with this little thing going on. You think, because she was like, well, you have really good advice. I was like, I've seen this a lot. What do you mean? And I said, you're like number 23 or 24. You think you're the only one having this issue? I have a lot of friends, of acquaintances, people that I know, people I knew from high school and college and wherever else who've gone on and got married and have kids and now all kinds of it's gone sideways. Like, you think you're the first person who's come to me with this issue? You think you're the first person I've talked to about this? Because people like me because I don't hold back. That's one of the things I guess they like. They get mad at first, but then they come back, well, you were right. I said, well, of course I was right. I wouldn't have said it if I wasn't right, you know? Otherwise, I'm going to go, I don't know. I have no idea. We can work through something, but I have no idea. Other times I'm like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, and do this. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. I've told you what you need to do. Because you're the 23rd person I've seen with this situation, and it goes the same way every single time. Hollywood's no different. He's like, honey, you think you're the only person I've heard? I'm going to go to Hollywood and make them. You think you're the first person? I've known Brett Mauser 30 years now. You think you're the first person we've ever seen? I'm going to go to Hollywood and make my way. And come all of a sudden when we see the train wreck that returns, dragging her crippled, broken, used up butt to the back to the state line. You think you're the only one we've seen? Seriously? I was like, I'm not trying to tell you that you're worthless, okay, because you won't put out. I'm telling you that your worth is not in your sex, okay? I am telling you that your worth is more than who you will I'm telling you that what you need to do to take care of yourself, not just your body, but your mind and your consciousness and your soul, is to understand that you, as a human being, as an individual, as a person with a name and a history and hopes and dreams, has value. If you are going to give it away, by definition, it doesn't have any value. Everything has value. You, as an actress, as a person, as an individual, have value. What you have, what you possess, your hopes, your dreams, your ideals, your family has value. If you give it away, like giving away 25 cents or $1, you're losing something in the exchange. It's not like I give you 25 cents and you give me 25 cents worth of something else. Is a gumball worth 25 cents? No, it's worth like a penny, maybe. But it was the fact that I wanted whatever it was, and to me it was worth 25 cents, is what you're going to get from this exchange of sex or whatever else worth what you're giving up. You need to determine that, okay? If it is, it, do whatever you want. I'm not saying not to do that. Girls can do what they want with their bodies, that's fine, okay? But understand, there's a cost. There's going to be a cost. And if you give away everything you have and everything you are for a gumball worth of attention, what have you done? Because you're not getting that quarterback.